So I think in the 3 years that we've been doing Doug and Drivers, I've been with this guy all 3 years. I know he's excited about it, and I'm excited about it. Our 2016 Indianapolis 500 winner, Alexander Rossi, and there's something a little bit different this year. This is a new look for you. I think ready to roll with Ed Carpenter Racing.
We're getting there. I think that it's a pretty cool time to be a part of the team. They certainly went through a pretty big transition/change this offseason. I've known Ed very closely over the past 4-ish years, and so kind of understanding the team's previous limitations and the things that they wanted to do to get better and to really kind of elevate themselves as an organization. A lot of that has been able to be accomplished, and so I think it's certainly an exciting time. There's some question marks still to answer, as there always is in this sport, and there's no, golden key to fix all your problems, but ultimately I think that there's a lot of very good people there, and now, we're building the ability to have the tools and the things that we need in order to go out and be successful. So there's certainly a path and a journey ahead, but one that I'm very excited to be on.
Well, and then you talk about changes there and things that they wanted to do. New partnership for Ed in terms of ownership of the team. Obviously, the Java House coming on. Are you a coffee drinker?
I am a coffee drinker.
More so
yes.
now?
In a different way.
Right.
So before I was one of those pod guys or drip coffee guys. Now the ease of being able to pour in your essentially ready-made coffee into either hot or cold water is pretty convenient.
That's great, because I know Java House, for those of you that haven't been around Central Indiana, for sure the Java Houses around are some of my favorite. There's one on Michigan Avenue or Michigan Road that I stop by on my way to work often, and I kind of probably ruin the coffee, make it a latte, but for me it's an awful lot of fun. One of the things about Ed Carpenter Racing that has to have been attractive to you to make that move is just how fast they are at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
I think that was certainly one of the elements, yes, but I don't want to say that that's the whole reason, because I don't think that's entirely fair to the organization, because as I said, I think there's so much that they have going for them in terms of their plans for the future and their vision for the future and what they want to be. So certainly in the very immediate short term, that's a great thing and something that I feel very fortunate to, let's be honest, my entire career at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has been in really good equipment. And so for me to be able to continue to have that opportunity, we know that, the opportunities as a driver to win that race are limited, and every single year that you don't win, it gets more limited. So for me to know going into the month of May that I'm going to have the tools and the equipment and the car to at least give myself a shot is very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that winning the Indianapolis 500 in 2016 was a big deal for you, but it would probably mean even more now that you've really understood what that event is and become sort of a student of the history. And your record at the Speedway, 6 or 7 top 10s, many of them top 5s, you are fast there, and you can just see it now. Probably makes you want it even more.
It does. I've often talked about a couple of things. One, you've got the guys that haven't won, and that desire and that just drive to finally get their face on the trophy, right? And then you have the drivers who have been fortunate enough to experience it, and they know everything that comes with that and how it changes your life and changes the trajectory of your career and how it kind of cements you in history at the Speedway. And so I almost think that the drive for those guys is just a little bit more, because the ones that haven't won it don't quite know what they're missing out on. And so for me, I have that passion that I want to experience that again, but B, you're absolutely right, to now be able, if I was able to win it again, to know what I was accomplishing and what all went into that, and the close calls I've had of almost doing it again and not quite getting there, and all that sort of thing add to that kind of emotional connection you have to the Speedway. And the more people you know, the more time you spend there, you start to understand the significance of the event, not only to IndyCar drivers and teams, but to the city, to the community, and why it has such a special place in history. So yes, for me, to be able to say that I could win it again would be such a different experience for me, and a much more positive one, if I'm honest.
So you talk about the closeness. I mean, last year, everybody was focused on the amazing battle between Pato and Joseph. you were right back there. And in fact, there was a little battle between you and Dixon that actually took place there on that last lap. As you take the white flag and you see those guys battling up in front, and you probably know you don't have a chance to get there on your own, is there a part of you that thinks, I'm going to be here, and these guys are going to do their thing, and I could end up winning an Indy 500? Or are you still thinking about how do I get to them on my own?
I hate to say this, but you're praying that they get it wrong, right? Because I was third to start that lap, and it was close in turn 3, and Pato had a kind of a big washout on the exit there. And the reason I actually finished 4th to Scott was because I was like, oh, well, I can get 2nd now, at least, right? And kind of misjudged the run through turn 4, and kind of had to save myself, which cost me 3rd, which ultimately in Indy, who cares, right? If you're not winning 2nd, 3rd, 4th, it's all kind of irrelevant. But yeah, I mean, through starting that last stint, it was Joseph and I fighting, and then we had a fuel issue, which just seems to be it's just my MO at Indy. And maybe I used all my luck up on the first time, but that's okay. It's the way that race is. It's the way it goes. There's so many things that everyone has to get right. But yes, certainly I think that, especially in this day and age of this current era of the car, if you're not the guy in 1st or 2nd kind of coming to the white flag, you're just you take what you can get at that point.
You and I talked a little bit after the race this year just about how really epic it was. The rain we had to go through, and then just what it was like. The colors were different because of the sunset. The racing was different because of how cool it was. So that was your 9th Indy 500, 10th coming up. Of your 9 500s, that had to feel pretty crazy in the car that late and seeing the colors change. All the fans came back. I mean, it was an amazing day.
It was definitely, believe it or not, it was the most stressful one. Just because, usually your rhythm that you have, your morning's pretty busy, and then you get into the flow of doing driver intros, and you get into all of the pageantry that exists leading up to the green flag, and that all goes really fast. Last year, we kind of did the intros and such, and then it's like, all right, head back to your bus, and what do you do in that time? You can't eat. You certainly aren't sleeping. No one knows really what to say, because it's no one knows if you're going to race today and all this sort of thing. So everyone's just staring at this green and yellow blob of rain, which I'm sure you're doing, right? And it's just a very weird, it's almost like 3 hours vanishes from your life. But to get the call that we're going racing, to have it be kind of overcast, cooler temperatures going into the evening, produce the show that we got, which was an amazing race. And huge credit to you and everyone at IMS for getting everyone back in. I remember hearing the story from one of my friends in Carmel, and this is amazing because not that many people actually left. So he came to the track bright and early, parked his car outside the front straight. The rain delay happened. He went home to Carmel, got word that it was coming back. He got his same exact parking spot. So the commitment that the fans had as well to stick it out was pretty amazing.
So do you get a chance when the race starts and you're rolling off those first few laps? I get a chance. I'm fortunate enough I drive one of those event cars that's at the front, and it always strikes me, because it's a bunch of people, but you've been there for 2 weeks, you've been on track, you've got between 4,000 or 5,000 people on a limited practice day to 75,000 folks there on carb day. But you come around turn 2, and the entire backstretch along the spectator mounds is just full of people all the way through 3, and it blows me away the number of people there. And are you able to take a minute and just absorb the number of people before you have to totally focus?
I think you certainly see all the color, and you see the energy of the snake pits going off, and there's that sense of it. But really, the time where you realize the people are there and the magnitude of the people being there is walking through Gasoline Alley on your way to the green room before driver intros. For me, that's the coolest experience in sports. Is usually you do it with your family, teammates, that sort of thing. And coming out from underneath the Gasoline Alley overhang, and you're looking up at the grandstands and it's full, it's just, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it right now. So at that point, by the time we're doing the formation laps, yeah, it's cool to see it full, but the emotion of all the people being there has kind of already hit you.
Yeah, absolutely. So 10 races coming up. Is there a favorite moment of pre-race for you other than that walkout that really impacts you and makes you realize how important that race is?
Man, I can't pick one. It's all of it. It's the salute to our veterans and active service members. It's the flyover. It's taps. It's the national. It's all of it, man. It's so cool. It's so special, and it's the hour that I look forward to the most every single year.
What's a flyover like strapped in a cockpit?
Still loud. Still really loud. Like, you can't quite see, like, you can kind of get a glimpse of them, but like the sound of it still takes your breath away.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for all you do to just love the sport. 10th run coming up. Alexander Rossi, our 2016 Indianapolis 500 winner. Nobody would rather have a second face on that BorgWarner trophy more than Alexander Rossi, and I know many of you out there would love to celebrate along with him during the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Greenbridge on May 25th. We'll see if Alexander Rossi can take Ed Carpenter Racing to victory lane.